Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. You know, we swipe our cards, check our balances, and tap our phones pretty much every single day. But honestly, underneath those super simple actions is this massive, highly calibrated engine. Today, we're unpacking exactly how retail banking takes your everyday habits and turns them into the literal foundation of our national economy.
So think about the exact moment your paycheck hits your account. Where does it actually go? Because that cash doesn't just sit there gathering dust in a digital vault. No way. The banking system immediately takes those numbers and turns idle deposits into an active, flowing current of liquidity. It's like a giant puzzle, and to understand exactly how that current works, we really need to map the territory.
To do that, we're going to follow the money through 5 simple steps. 1. The basics. 2. The revenue. 3. The types of banks out there. 4. The economy. And finally, 5. Corporate comparisons.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the basics. Welcome to retail banking.
So at its core, retail banking is basically the accessible, consumer-facing storefront of the entire financial world. Think of it as a one-stop shop designed specifically for us, the general public. Whether you're safely depositing your cash, trying to get a personal loan, or just managing your daily expenses, retail banks are the vital connection points that link everyday citizens to the much broader, kind of complex financial ecosystem.
Moving right along to Section 2, the revenue, how retail banks make money.
Now, you might be wondering, how do these guys actually make their money? Well, unlike massive investment firms that rely on, high-stakes market trades, retail banks balance the scales between 2 really reliable income streams. On one side, you've got interest income. That's the money they earn from customer loans. And on the other side, there's non-interest income. This covers things like processing fees, account maintenance, and cross-selling stuff like mutual funds or insurance. That combo keeps the whole ecosystem highly sustainable.
But the absolute core engine keeping the lights on? That's what we call the interest margin. Basically, a bank pays you a modest little yield to hold on to your deposits. Then, they turn around and lend that exact same money out at a higher premium for things like mortgages or auto loans. That mathematical spread, the difference between what they pay you and what they charge borrowers, is their profit margin. It's a simple concept for sure, but it is literally the lifeblood of the entire industry.
Let's jump right into Section 3, the types, categorizing the banks.
The banking landscape is actually incredibly diverse. You've got your massive public sector banks like SBI or PNB, which are majority government-owned and offer that sovereign safety. Then you have private sector banks like HDFC and ICICI, really driving those rapid digital app-based experiences. And then there are the disruptors, neobanks like Jupiter. These are tech-first, online-only platforms that don't even have a single physical branch. On the flip side, you have regional rural banks like Kerala Grameen, focusing purely on unbanked agrarian areas, and cooperative banks like Saraswat, operating on a super interesting member-owned one-vote principle. The whole model adapts perfectly to whatever demographic it's trying to serve.
All right, Section 4, the economy, fueling the broader ecosystem.
Let's zoom out for a second, because here is where you really see the cyclical brilliance of the system in motion. Imagine customer A securely deposits their idle cash. The bank pools that money and extends it as credit to customer B, who uses it to buy a house or a car today. That purchase pays builders, agents, and manufacturers, which injects real liquidity into the market and actually creates jobs. This whole process stimulates the national economy, which ultimately circles right back around to benefit customer A. It is a massive, continuous loop.
And those core functions, providing a secure place for cash, offering credit, increasing monetary flow, they prove that providing credit isn't just some basic consumer service. It's actually a vital macroeconomic tool. By adjusting borrowing rates, retail banks act as the throttle and the brakes for the entire economy. If inflation is high, they raise rates to cool down spending. If we're in a slump, they slash rates to make debt cheaper and stimulate nationwide economic revitalization. It's absolutely crucial.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, corporate comparisons. What retail banking isn't.
To really grasp retail banking, we have to draw a sharp line between it and corporate banking. While corporate banks are out there handling, massive commercial loans, treasury management, and complex structured finance for large businesses and governments, retail banking remains fiercely dedicated to the individual. Basic deposits, personal loans, credit cards, mortgages, they are 2 completely distinct beasts in the financial world. One is built for massive corporate scale, and the other is built for you and me.
But hey, retail banking is definitely not standing still. We are right in the middle of a massive digital transition. With the rapid rise of mobile banking, contactless payments, and AI-driven robo-advisors, the landscape is shifting fast. They're even collaborating with investment banking companies now. What they're doing is taking these highly sophisticated wealth solutions, stuff that used to be strictly gated for the ultra-wealthy, and putting them right there on the smartphone in your pocket. It's a real game changer.
The underlying mechanics of deposits and lending probably aren't going anywhere, but the speed and intelligence of these systems, they're evolving by the minute. So, as digital innovation fully merges with daily finance, how will technology fundamentally change what happens when you swipe your card tomorrow? I'll leave you with that thought to ponder. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring the incredible systems powering our daily lives.